Yeah, so this session is for code 17 management, guys. And before anything else, let us look at expected cutoffs. Let us look at expected cutoff. So a cutoff in last few attempts is following this pattern. This is December 18, then this is June 19, then December 19, and this is for latest exam which was held a couple of months back, that is June 2020 exam. So guys, what do we understand from this? That if you are planning JRF, then the cutoff was 62% in December 18, then it becomes 68%, then it becomes approximately 61, and in June 2020 it was approximately 65%. So what we can assume that the cutoff for JRF for code 17 for unreserved guys would be somewhere close to 65%. So that is like few percentage points up and down. That is where JRF will stand, and how net will be. Net will be approximately 6-7 percentage point below that. Okay. So now that we have agreed that cutoff will be somewhere 2-3 percentage point more or less than 65%. So what should be our target? So guys, what we suggest is that we all should plan a score of 70%. 70% in total. 70% in total, which includes paper 1 and paper 2. Okay. So guys, one way to get a score of, one strategy to get a score of 70% is that I score 70% in paper 1, I score 70% in paper 2, and that is how it can be done. Okay. Usually what happens, because we have been doing it for last 8-9 years now. In paper 1, most of you would put up a good score like maybe in paper 1, everybody will score maybe around 60-70%. Okay. And in paper 2, they'll put up a score of maybe and guys, I'm talking about somebody who is who has put in at least average effort, not for somebody who is not studying at all. So in paper 2, approximately you can say that people will score somewhere between 45 to maybe 60% somewhere, and then of course you will not get JRF in this score. And then what you will say that in paper 1 I have done very well. In paper 1 I have done very well because I scored 60% in paper 1, but in paper 2 I haven't done well. And then you start putting more and more effort in paper 2 only. So this is one thing which we do not want you to work. We do not want that you should be following this strategy of increasing your score in paper 2 with thinking that by scoring 60 to 70% in paper 1 I have done well. Guys, no. What you should be doing is that in paper 1 you should target a score of 70 to 80%. That means what? You should target to get around 40 questions correct out of 50 in paper 1. This should be your target. So guys, if you are serious for JRF, and if you are scoring 32, 31 out of 50 in paper 1, 31, 32 out of 50 in paper 1, you are not doing a good job. You are not doing a good job in paper 1. You should target a score of around 40, and it is doable. It is easy. You can do it. The effort which you will require to get one additional mark in paper 1 is much less than the effort which you will require to get in paper 2. So first thing first, do not underestimate paper 1. Try to get a score of around 40 in paper 1. This should be the first thing. This should be the first thing to build overall good score. Of course, you'll be studying paper 2 only, but if you'll put up a great score in paper 1 and which is doable, which is easy, so even if there are some shortcomings in paper 2, which usually happens, they will be taken care of. Okay, so that was a note on what should be done on paper 1. So now let us agree that we'll plan a score of above 70, and today whatever we'll be doing, our intention will be to prepare a strategy so that we can get a score of 70 in paper 2. So to reach at this strategy, what we are going to do today, we are going to do 3 things. Number 1, we'll analyze June 2020 paper. Number 2, we'll plan a preparation strategy for upcoming exam. And number 3, what we'll do, we'll take a lot of questions from you. And today is your day on which you can share anything and everything about any topic, at whatever level, at whatever micro level you want to go, whether this topic, that topic, or whatever it is, your time management, exam day, before exam day, how to prepare, anything and everything which comes to your mind, feel free. We'll try our best to answer that. Okay. So now this is the agenda for the day. Why we are here today? We are sitting here on a Monday afternoon so that we can build up a plan to get above 70 in paper 2, and let us see whether we can actually do it, or what we should be doing right to get this score. Okay, great. So with that in mind, let us move on. Okay, so this is a quick introduction who we are, and Human Fighter started in 2011. So what we are doing? So we are doing 3 subjects of UGC NET: Commerce Code 08, Management Code 17, and HRM Code 55. Of course, paper 1 is also included. Then there are a few other exams also which we do. For example, we also coach people for civil services exam, but only for management optional. Then UPSC Assistant Labor Commissioner exam, EPFO exam, and a lot of HR and marketing officers exam in different PSC. Okay, so let's move on. So guys, this is one analysis which we have prepared for you. So this is analysis of what was the breakage of questions in paper 2 of Code 17 management. So entire topic has been divided into these topics like marketing, accounting, FM, strategy, stats, and so on. And these are the questions which appeared in December 19 paper. Okay. Then we also put up whatever was this breakage in June 2020 paper. Okay. So why do we have these nice looking graphs? So let us try to learn something from it. Okay. Let us try to. Toshit will come to your question. Guys, we'll take up the questions. Hold on now. Let me speak for next 10 minutes and then we'll take up the questions. Okay. So guys, now that we have these nice looking pie charts, so what impact what do we learn from this? What impact will this have on the preparation plan? Okay, great. So guys, in December 19 paper, from financial management, there were 17 questions. But in June 2020 paper, from financial management, there were 10. Okay, 17 to 10. Let us look at something else as well. For international business and labor welfare, by the way, we have clubbed these topics in our book. That is why we are putting them together. For IB and labor welfare, there were 4 questions in December 19, and now this number in June 2022 paper is 10. 4 to 10. Okay. Then you can say that from managerial economics, earlier there were 5, this time there were 2. Okay. So guys, what do we understand from this? The one thing which is very clear, and because we have seen it earlier as well, do not go with any assumption that more question will come from a particular topic, or this is less important, or this is more important. No, no topic is less or more important. Even a small topic like entrepreneurship, earlier it had 5, now there were 9 questions from it. On the other hand, in the same paper, there were only 2 questions from managerial economics. So guys, what do we understand from it? Maybe okay, this time from managerial stats or from operations there are 4 questions. Maybe next time there can be 15 questions on managerial. From operations management. So guys, what our advice is, do not go with any assumption that this topic is less or more important. All topics are equally important. There is no pattern which you can say that, oh, so many questions will come from this topic, this is more important, this is less. No, you have to study everything right from topic 1. Okay, great. So let us look at next. Okay, so guys, this is something. So basically what we do after every UGC NET exam, after every exam we do an analysis that if somebody would have prepared with human bias, how many questions he or she would have done, and maybe and in case he or she did not look at any other source, no other book, no other paper, nothing else, if somebody would have done only with us, how many questions he or she would have done. So this number was 90% in June 1990 paper. It was 87% in exam before that, 82%, then 90% in December 18, July 2018, 78%, November it was 70%. So you know this number will keep varying. So December 19 it was 90%. Maybe in next attempt it can happen that this can go to 82%, but because that also depends on difficulty level of paper. But whatever happens, our students will always do well because we go with the basics. Basics is to cover the entire syllabus topic by topic. That is our basics. Okay. So so what do we understand from it? That we understand that, I mean, consistently we find about 80% coverage in recent exams which have happened in a couple of years. Okay, and so what do we do at Human Practice? So number 1, we'll take you through printed concise booklets, then an online question bank of around 6,000 questions, then a full-length mock paper, live classes, recorded videos, and so this is everything which you go through, and that is how you prepare with us. Okay, great. So now let us look at June 2020 paper. Let us look at June 2020 paper and June 2020 paper, and let us try to find whether we can really put up a score of 70% in paper 2 in that paper. So we analyzed entire paper in detail. Okay, and then what we did, we divided all question into 3 categories. We divided in all question into three categories. So let us look at this analysis. So my friend Megha will take you through that. Yes.
Hi guys. So I'm here to discuss regarding as to how can you be able to score above 70% in NET. Okay. So guys, we have analyzed the entire paper of June 2020, and we have divided all those questions in the category of easy, tough, and moderate. Okay. So see, why do I say now which question would I categorize as easy? Okay. See, if you would not have studied anything for your management paper, you could have easily solved those questions by common sense. That's it. Just sheer common sense is required in order to solve these questions. Okay. Now, if I speak regarding moderate questions, just understand the idea as to how do we categorize a question in a moderate way. Okay, I'll take an example over here. See, in financial management, if I say we have theories, okay, in portfolio management. Which are the most common theories that we study? One is the arbitrage pricing theory. We have the capital asset pricing model and the model portfolio theory, right? So if the question has been asked from these three theories, then it would definitely be a moderate question. So now guys, if I speak regarding the Sharpe single index model, now do many students go through this model or not? You have to answer, you have to ask yourself. No, because this is a model which might be present in some books in the syllabus or might not be present. Okay, so that if a question is asked from this category, the category of Sharpe single index model, that would be categorized as a tough question. Okay. Now let me take you through some of the easy, moderate and tough questions that have appeared in June 2020 examination. So guys, this was a question regarding the rational decision making model. Okay, so it is that which is not an assumption regarding the rational decision making model. And clearly, see, clearly the answer over here is incomplete information, right? We all know that the assumptions that are there for the rational decision-making model are an agreed goal. We all agree to that. A structured problem, obviously, why not, right? And certainty level. So these three options are the obvious options of the assumptions, right? So this would definitely be categorized as an easy question. Clear? Similarly, look at this question. Which of the following HR decisions can be influenced by HR analytics? Now just quickly go through these 5 options that I mentioned. HR planning, succession planning, hiring, performance, compensation, and rewards. Obviously, all the 5 are involved in HR decisions. So this definitely would be categorized as an easy question. Next, talking regarding, see, such a simple question, guys. Like, do we even consider this as a question? These are for free marks, right? What is a social enterprise concerned with? See, in this question, definitely you can use the elimination strategy. Firstly, you start reading the question, okay, regarding profit maximization. Everyone knows that a social enterprise is never ever concerned with profit maximization, right? So what are the other options that could be considered? Those are running a business to create social benefits. See, social enterprise and social benefits, definitely they would go hand in hand, right? And to maximize improvements in financial, social, and environmental well-being. Definitely, we know that these 2 are the options which would be correct. And regarding, if I say profit maximization, obviously, then maximizing market share would not be the answer over here, or providing public service. No, not at all. Okay. So this is even categorized as an easy question. Now, see, coming to, now, firstly, let us look at this question firstly. We talk regarding brand extension strategy. All of you will, being MBA postgraduates, you all will be knowing regarding the types of strategies, right? You have been studying regarding these, I mean, since last so many years, right? So a question from this would definitely be categorized as a moderate. See, definitely you would require to revise the types of strategies in this case, because otherwise you would get confused between the different types of strategies, right? So we would categorize this question as a moderate question, right? Now, which of the following cause conflicting ranking of an investment opportunity under the NPV and IRR criteria? This question is repetitively being asked. See, the conflicting ranking between the NPV and IRR criteria, if you would have studied regarding capital budgeting even a bit, you would have definitely known as to what the answer would be. So why not we would be categorizing this question as a moderate question. Next. Okay. Now, if I speak regarding the stages of a turnaround process, see guys, in some book, the stages would be given in the way of realignment, retrenchment, and then stabilize, or in other manner, then the answer would be given realignment, recovery, or stabilize, right? So in different book, it would be given in a different manner. In different study material, it would be given, the answer would be different. And also, when a student has to memorize the stages regarding any process, he or she tends to forget during the exams, right? So this would definitely call for being a difficult question, right? Next, if I talk regarding, okay, so there's this, they're asking regarding, guys, Big Bazaar's CRM strategy. Obviously, not most of the students would be able to apply their theoretical knowledge to the real world, right? So over here, definitely the students tend to get confused as to what the answer would be. Fine. Now, okay. Look at this question, guys. What is it written? Identify the most important types of retail stores. Most important types. Like, what do you understand by most important types? Most is the word. I mean, okay, if it's written important types, you would understand, but most important types of retail stores. So definitely the student would get confused as to whether the online store, departmental store, or the direct selling store. Now, if the student considers these three as their answer, then definitely there would be a dilemma in the mind of a student that whether I should mark this superstore also as the answer, right? So this is quite a subjective kind of a question, and over here then we categorize this as a tough question. So these are sort of confusing questions that would be asked in the paper, right? Now, guys, if I talk regarding when I have told you that these are the sort of easy, moderate, and tough questions, what do I want to infer from this? Okay, it's just that, see, in June 2020 examination, the number of easy questions that had appeared were 12, okay? Moderate were 71, and the tough ones were 17. Okay. So what do I infer from this? See, guys, if I add up the easy and the moderate questions, this total comes to 83, right? So if you would have studied from the regular books, okay, you would have easily been able to crack these questions. Okay, and easily you would have scored a decent score. Okay, 83 questions is like a good amount for you to score above 70% in net. Now, talking regarding these 17 questions, if I speak, okay, now definitely you won't leave those questions. Okay, so if those questions are solved by fluke, even at least 4 questions out of those 17 questions would come out as correct for you. So guys, the certainty increases in this manner that you can easily just believe in yourself that you can easily get a score of 70% and above in UGC net. Now, I would just, like you to reflect, or you ponder over if you have appeared in the examination, why didn't you crack it? Okay, since I have given all of the categorization, that you could have easily gotten a decent score and cracked the examination, right? Now,
So thanks, Megha. So guys, what Megha has told us, what Megha has told us is that, what Megha has told us that give me a second. Yeah. Okay. So these 71 moderate questions. So what Megha has told, that 71 moderate questions and 12 easy ones and 17 tougher ones were there in June 2020 paper. So guys, these 71 questions means that if you would have studied just average topics, average depth in every topic, you would have done these 71 questions. Of course, these 12 are easy ones. So this 71 plus 12 becomes 83. By the way, even out of these 17 tougher questions, because this is the objective paper, 1/4 is the probability of getting correct. There is no negative marking. So even if you would have marked only BBB in every answer in these 17, you would have got approximately 4 marks. So guys, this analysis which is done by Megha, this clearly shows that there is potential. There is very easily you can get a score of above 70% in paper 2 if you stick to your basics. Generally, what happens is that we keep worrying about tougher topics. We keep worrying about tougher. Oh, some new question will come in a paper, and then this is getting tough. This is getting tough. Of course, there will be new questions every time, but your selection is based on what you do in these moderate and easy questions. It is not based on what you cannot do in tougher questions. Okay, so guys, 2-3 things which you should be doing. Number 1, cover entire syllabus. You'll find 500 videos on YouTube which will tell you these are important questions, these are important topics. Please do not go after that. Open your syllabus right from first keyword, start doing it keyword by keyword and cover the entire syllabus. There is no other strategy. This is very simple. Just cover the entire syllabus. Next thing, there are many topics now which are also related to current affairs. So you should be updating your content. For example, questions will come. For example, this time there were some questions on what was done in for MSME industry during coronavirus times. What was given by government as a package? There was a question on that. Then there was a question on few days back budget has been announced. So in that budget, the insurance sector limit has been increased from 49% to 74%. You should be knowing it. So now there are there was another question on Big Bazaar. Okay, so guys, there are few questions on current awareness relevance also. Please keep that in mind. Okay, that is why we keep our content updating every 6 months at Human Fighters. Time management. So guys, there are 2 types of time management. One is during preparation, and second is during exam day. Okay, so guys, during exam day, see, first thing is that UGC in UGC net paper, you will hardly feel stressed for time, because most of questions are theoretical in nature. Now paper 1, paper 2 is anyway combined, so you get combined time of both the papers. So you will have ample time. You will not run short of it. Which you run short of is your understanding of the topic. So guys, do not worry about time management on the exam day. Chances are very high that in last 30-40 minutes you will be sitting looking at other guys and doing nothing. So you will have ample time in UGCNet on the exam day. However, there is a time management strategy which we suggest especially for paper one, how to attempt lengthy questions like DI, like your mathematical aptitude questions or reading comprehension questions. So we also have done a separate video on that, which is paper one strategy. UGCNet paper one strategy. So if you will search UGCNet paper one strategy Human PyTest, you will see a video. Please do watch that. So that video will show you how you can make use of your time to get more marks in paper one. Okay, so now time management before exam, during your preparation, there is no universal strategy. We don't treat you like class 11 students that will give you a calendar and that is how you will prepare or a timetable. So guys, everyone has got different strengths and weaknesses. Please identify that. We have seen some guys who will take 10 hours to complete a marketing book. There are some others who will take 40 hours to complete a marketing book. So these things vary from person to person, but you should be knowing the areas in which you are weak, you are strong. And the best way to identify is that go through online question bank of your own PyTest and see how and well you are doing in a particular topic. So guys, time management during exam and before exam. Okay. Next thing, application based questions. You know, till some time back, the entire UGCNet paper was primarily keyword based. The entire paper was keyword based. So you remember few keywords and that is done. You are ready for the exam. Guys, now this thing is changing. Now questions are more and more conceptual and application. Now they have also started giving you a case study or longer questions on topics like accounting, FM. This is something which we have been seeing in the last couple of years. So guys, start understanding things. NTA paper is much smarter than paper which was there when CBSE was conducting or when UGC was conducting. NTA is putting up really good papers. So there are more and more conceptual or application based questions have been asked. Okay. So guys, now this is so we'll spend another 5 minutes and then we'll take up your questions. So we also did some topic wise analysis to show you that what has been the trend. For example, from marketing management, the questions came from these topics in June 2020 paper, like concept of marketing. Then there was a question on marketing segment, then product life cycle, VMS, vertical marketing system, logistics, retail marketing, CRM. So these are topics from which questions came. But the thing which I also want to show you is that for this topic in June 19 there were 3 questions, then it became 18, and this time there were 20 questions. Similarly, for you can pick up any other topic and look at this variation on IB. On IB there were 12 questions in June 19, which became 4 in December 19, and then again there were 10 questions this time in June 2020 paper. Okay, so guys, this is a topic wise analysis which we have done, that from which topic which question came, but you should not be making any inference from these topics. Next time questions will come from different topics. Okay, so so guys, this is a topic wise thing which we have done. Okay, so so what we do at Human PyTest, we do 4 things with you. that we make you cover entire syllabus in printed booklets. Then we make you go through our online question bank or around 6,000 questions. We teach you for around 250 to 300 hours in live classes. And finally, you go through full-length mock test papers. So if you go through this, then you do not need anything else, and you can depend completely upon us. Okay. So now, now we'll take up your questions. So please do let us know whatever you want to you want to ask. Anything that comes to your mind, please do let us know. Okay, so Toshit is asking how to prepare for Indian logic. So Toshit, whatever content we have given, see anyway, this Indian logic content in our booklet is not more than 7-8 pages. Just go through that. Also go through around 100 questions which are there on the online test platform for this topic of Indian logic. This is more than sufficient. Nothing else. Of course, if you are enrolled for live classes, then you also will have a teacher teaching you Indian logic in the live class. Okay, anything else? Okay, guys, any other doubt or anything which you want to discuss? Okay, so should we speak to some of you? So maybe we can speak to some of you. I hope you guys are with the earphone so that this can be more interactive. So I'm unmuting Hitakshi Mittal. Yeah, Hitakshi, can you please unmute and speak up? We have unmuted you. Are you with the earphone? Okay, Hitakshi is saying she wants to take 2 minutes and probably she's fixing up earphone or something. So Preeti, so let us speak to Preeti. Yes, Preeti.
Hello.
Yes, Preeti, speak up. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, Preeti, tell me.
Sir, I just wanted to know that whether we will be having classes on current affairs, as you are saying, na tax policy has changed a lot this time. So we will be having classes on that.
See, Preeti, so we do not have separate classes on current affairs. I'll tell you the way it works. So current affairs are asked from few identified topics. For example, what is happening in MSME in country, then your FDI policy, FPI, foreign trade policy. In paper 1, current affairs is there in higher education, or you can say people and environment also. So whenever teachers are teaching these topics, they are taking care of these things. So there are no separate classes for current affairs. So whenever they are teaching that, for example, when somebody will teach you higher education, our teacher will also teach you latest NIRF ranking. That is how current affairs. So automatically they are covered when that, but because current affairs are in few identified topics only. Yeah. Okay. So who else?
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Hello.
So, yes, please. Who is this? Yeah, Hitakshi.
Yes. Hi.
Yes.
Actually, I haven't studied most of the units. So how shall I prepare for those units?
So you have to start with the first unit and keep covering the entire syllabus.
Yeah. So I just want, since we are left with just 2.5 months, so I just wanted to know how shall I begin with that.
No, see again, Hitakshi, again I'll come back to the same thing. If you are looking for few important identified areas, then there is nothing like that. So UGC NET is a very simple exam, guys. You do 50% syllabus, you get 50% marks. You get 20% syllabus, you get 20% coverage. And
yeah, that is what I am saying. Now I have already appeared for this exam twice, and I just came to know that some of the topics are there which I haven't studied in my entire life. So I have to cover those subjects so that I can secure well and go to just able to clear my DRF. So you tell me the for that.
so are you enrolled with us?
Yes, I am already enrolled with you guys.
Okay. So have you gone through the printed booklets?
Yes, I've gone through those booklets, but still, you just given us a word and you're given a statement with that. I just want ki, you can just tell the topic wise what could be the possible highlighted areas are there so that I can rush to those areas.
No, see, Hitakshi, if you have gone through the booklets, then what you should be doing is going through 6,000 online questions which are given topic wise. And not only you have to go through those questions, you also have to go through their detailed explanation.
Okay, so there's nothing like you can suggest some important or relevant topics in those units.
That's what, Hitakshi, that is what we discourage you about. So guys, stop looking at important. Hitakshi, you show me any topic in the syllabus and I'll show you a question on that. Because we had a lot of analysis in last 10 years. There is not even a single topic in UGC NET from which questions haven't come.
No, that is fine, but since there are almost 5 units which I haven't studied, and I already have don't have the.
There is absolutely no shortcut. You have to do the hard work, study more, sleep less, whatever way you want to manage it. But you have to cover the syllabus.
Okay, according to you, how much time should I contribute? Should an average person should contribute for their studies?
See, usually it takes around 3 to 4 months to cover the entire syllabus. Usually that is the average time. Now it can keep varying depending upon what is your current level of understanding, how much you already know, and all those.
Okay.
Actually, do one thing.
Yeah.
Take a print out of syllabus. Find out your weaker areas. Find out your strengths. Then.
Yes.
Plan that on which topic you want to spend how much effort.
Okay.
Yeah, do analysis that on which areas you are. For example, if you feel that you are not able to understand stats, for example.
Yeah.
Okay. Then maybe for now leave stats. Okay. But make sure that in the remaining 9, but make sure that in the remaining 9 units, they're covering everything.
Okay. So according to you, I should highlight some.
Again, Hitakshi, I'm again repeating myself. Nothing is like more important. Nothing is to be highlighted. The syllabus has to be covered the way we have given it to you. These printed booklets and going through these 6,000 questions, you are done, nothing else. And of course, now whatever hard work, whatever number of hours are required, which you have to put in, there is no shortcut for that. Absolutely no.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll speak to somebody else now. So.
Hello. Sir, you're not audible. I'm connected through my earphone, but you're not audible.
Okay, now can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Yes, please.
Sir, I had a question regarding the current affairs part. Like, should we refer to any newspaper or magazine, particular magazine, to stay updated for the topics?
Absolutely not needed. Please understand,
okay.
UGC NET is not an exam of current affairs. Just go through your syllabus. See, even if you skip the effort required to go through newspapers and all these things is like, and the reward because there will not be more than 1 or 2 questions which is dependent on current affairs, right? Okay. So stick to your syllabus, and there are few identified topics only from which current affair appears. So let me write them down for you as long as I remember. So for paper 2, current affairs can be in MSME, FDI, foreign trade policy, then current affairs can be in that's all. For paper 1, I might be skipping 1 or 2 names. Higher education. What is happening in higher education? things like NIRF ranking, new universities being set up. I don't know. Probably you would have seen budget again. There is a new
Yes, sir.
university which is proposed at Leh, a new central university. So this can be a question in your next exam. Another example which
Okay.
I gave you, that there's a lot of new schemes. There are a lot of new schemes also which keep coming. Then higher education, NIRF, then people and environment, like latest what is being done on climate change, which are the recent cyclones which have hit India, and the 3-4 topics only which you have to go through. Yeah.
Okay. And sir, there was one more question from my side. I had gone through the sample paper which was uploaded in the NTA website before giving the June 2020 attempt. But to my surprise, I found that there was no linkage between the actual paper. Like in the sample paper, there were so many questions from economics, but like when we gave the exam, then there was the majority of the questions were from marketing. So
of
is it
course,
so that like
this
sample paper is
this is very well expected. So sample paper is just to show you how question paper looks like.
okay?
And we have just seen, right? We have just seen that
Yes.
for a given topic, in one paper there were 4 questions. Next time there were 10. Before that there were 18. I mean, what is this happening?
So this is unpredictable. Like you have to cover the entire
of
syllabus.
course. See, only nice thing about UGC NET is that they will not go beyond syllabus except 1 or 2 questions. Okay, so you should feel happy about it, that if you cover the syllabus, you will get pass.
Okay.
Beyond that, do not try to infer anything. Do not try to infer how many questions will come from which topic. Do not try to infer that which are important topics. And Pragya, we have been doing it for a lot of time now. After that experience only, we are telling you these things. And
Okay, sir.
and believe me, there are so many videos, not only which misguide you on YouTube, which are doing a harm to you. There will be a video that 50 most important questions in higher education. And when actual exam will come, not even a single question will appear. So these things will not work. The groundwork, the dirty work will work. The dirty work is going through entire syllabus one by one, topic wise topics, nothing else. For example, I'll give you another example. So there is a topic. There is a topic in international business. I don't remember for management or commerce. The topic is trade creation and trade diversion. Not even a single question has appeared till now in last 2 years, because this is a new syllabus which came in January 2019. So that doesn't mean that you should not be studying it.
Okay.
This syllabus changed in January 2019. Okay, and in paper 1 there was a topic fallacies, formal and informal fallacies. Okay, so then exam happened in June 19. So syllabus came in January 19. Exam happened in June 19. So, but we taught fallacies to everyone in our classes, right? In June 19, again, no question on fallacies. Sorry, come again. So in June 19, there was no question on fallacies. In June 19, no question on fallacies. Okay, fine. But we again taught fallacies. So we taught before also, after this also, for December 19, guys, we taught fallacies again. Okay. In December 19, there were many questions on formal and informal fallacies. So guys, we do not. So I'll tell you one more topic on which question hasn't appeared even a single time. The topic is establishing validity of categorical syllogism using Venn diagram. So this is one topic in paper 1. Not even a single question has appeared till in last 3 exams. But still we are teaching it, because our fundamental is to cover entire syllabus and be safe. Nothing else will work. Okay, who else? Come on, guys. Thank you, Pragya. Yagya, not Pragya. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so I think I have missed a few questions, guys. So Ashima has a question on paper 1. Yes, Amisha wrote that, not Ashima. Yes, Amisha, speak up.
Hello.
Yes, Amisha.
Hello. Sir, am I audible?
Yes.
Sir, I've gone through the booklets once and
Okay.
somehow it started fading, like I couldn't retain much of the content. I'm going through them again this time, but can you suggest something like how many times is it required for us to keep the topic fresh in our mind?
You know, the best way to prepare for an exam is start writing. Start writing. You know, eventually how it goes. That,
Yes, sir.
And this for any exam. For example, you are studying international business, okay?
Yes, sir.
And so what we have done, we have given you maybe a 120 pages booklet on international. So
Yes,
while
sir.
studying it for the first time, you should start making your notes in form of bullet points. So what will happen? Out of this 120 pages, you will have your own notes written by your own hands, which will have approximately 50 pages.
Yes,
Then
sir.
again you will revise this. Then you will not read our books. You will read your own notes, and again you will start. Again you will write with your pen and paper. So this time there will be 20 pages. Okay. And finally,
Yes.
when you go to the exam, before exam day, you will be studying this 20 pages document. I mean, a couple of days before exam day, and you are done. And just try this for once. For any topic, try this once. You will feel that there is not even a single thing which you cannot remember on the exam. But this will happen only if you start writing with a pen and paper. This will not happen when you underline. This will not happen in multiple readings. There is no other way. There is no other way of learning. Start making your notes with a pen and paper. Nothing else. Okay. Who else? So we have spoken to Amisha. Who else, guys? Okay. I think Amar. Amar, Amar is also writing something. Can I rely on last year papers to prepare topics? So Amar, of course, previous year papers are very important, but it doesn't mean that only previous year papers are sufficient. So you have to cover the entire syllabus. You have to practice a lot of questions. You have to go through previous year questions. This is something which you have to do. And based on this thinking only, we have prepared this entire program. Okay, guys. So that is all for today. So I have missed some of you. Sorry for that, but that's all the time which we have. So if you have any queries, you are always welcome. Please send us an email. How you can send it? You have our email ID, or you can contact us through the website, and email ID and mobile number also given on this page. And all the best, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.